Hey everyone, AJ here with another episode of SwiftUI for Newbies. Again, I apologize for maybe the audio quality. I'm not in my office all week. I will be back in the office next week, but I still wanted to pump out videos for you guys. So bear with me. In this video, we're just going to talk about something very simple, and that is frames. Frames allow you to set, in most cases, static sizes, width and height, so 100 by 100 rectangle or 100 by 100 V-stack frame, or we will then, I also have some more complex videos on how to use frames to make your mix your frame elements or modifiers with Geometry Reader, which helps make your designs more responsive on all devices. That is in a one of my other more advanced playlists, which you can check out. But for now, what we're going to do is we're just going to embed this into, I'm just going to start with adding a frame, honestly, to this text field here. So you can add a frame and, hold on, let me just do not disturb. So I can add a frame to this text field, and so this width could be like 200 and this height could be 100. And what that does is that makes this text frame that big, right? It doesn't make the text that big. It makes the text frame that big. So this element right here becomes an actual size. Do I suggest doing this? No, I like putting frames more on like a V stack, an H stack, or a Z stack, things that contain or hold an element like a text field or an image. You can do the same thing with let me embed into VStack here, command click. Same with image, like let's do system name, house. You can do, you're gonna have to do dot, no, you should be able to do frame width of 200, height of 200. So this image, this image will be 200, but it won't affect the size of the symbol, because the size of the symbol is handled by it's an actual font property. So if I do headline here, this image will get, not headline, sorry, size. So let's do 30. So that's when the image increases, but if I actually make this 180, you're going to see it's going to get really close to the frame, you see, because the frame's 200. By 200, if I just do 50, you're going to see, it's getting close. So to me, like, I don't like doing that. I like, if I was going to set this to 22, and I'd probably, and I take this frame out, and I take this out, right? If anything, how I would do this is I would add a frame to this V stack of a width of 3, let's just do 200, and a height of 200, right? Oh, not 2000. And then, okay, and if I want those elements spread apart, well, then I can just add a spacing element and do like 30 if I wanted to, and they get spaced out. I mean, it's really that simple. I just don't see the point of putting frames on specific elements. I mean, other than images, maybe, like text, I don't know. Maybe if you want to do something along the lines of, hello world, this is cool. Let me see something real quick. And what we can do is, no, you know what? Yeah, what we could do is we could set a frame of width 100. And what that do is make 2 lines. So, you could technically, if you wanted here, honestly, here's an idea. You see this trend a lot. You could do like hello world and get rid of the frame here. Now we'll do hello in normal, like a comment like this. Oh, and then we'll add this parentheses, and we'll copy this and put world, and we can add a frame of, no, we can do a font size, and let's do 30, let's do bold, okay, and then we just come in here and we do a SwiftUI inspector. We can just align left. We can handle that alignment design that you see a lot in the headers, like this way if we wanted to, and we would need to add a frame. But in this case, what we might want to add a frame for is, for instance, what if I change this into an H stack and I want the image in front here, right? Well, what if, this frame, I don't want it that wide because, I might want to, I don't want to take up, maybe I just want this to be like 150, or like, for instance, I like, actually better erase all that, erase what I just said. In this case, let's just say I want this horizontal stack to kind of almost represent a header at the top, like maybe this is my header component. What I could do here is instead of doing a fixed frame width, what I always like doing with H stacks is doing max width of dot infinity. And what that does, it's pretty much always going to be a horizontal stack as wide as the device screen, right? So it's always going to take up the width of the screen. And then what you can do for that is add a padding on each side of like 30, right? And what that does is brings the elements inside of this horizontal stack in 30 from each side. So on horizontal, each side. Vertical would be up and down. We will have a separate section or lesson on padding after this. But then what do we want to do? Well, look, we want this home section 30 pixels off here, and we want hello world 30 pixels off here. So actually we're going to switch it around. We're actually going to put the image, because that's what you see a lot of designs now do. You see a lot of this where the text is in the left and then the image is here. Well, okay, well, how do we do that? We just come in this H stack that you've already learned how to do, and you add a space in between. And what happens now is these elements get spaced out, but they're 30 pixels away from each side because you've set a max width frame that takes up the whole side, the whole screen, left to right, and then you have a padding on each side of 30. So now I can come in and actually use, like I could not name this file header content view, and I could maybe name this home header, and maybe this is not a house, maybe this is more of a person.fill, and they can click that to access their profile button at the top, and you might have a taskbar down there. So but this allows, this right here, this max width infinity will help, really help you design, what I mean? And obviously they also have a frame max height of dot infinity as well. You can do that, so it takes up the whole space. And almost positive you can do one of these too. You can do all in one, and then we have this open space here, so what we can do is edges ignore all. And my fault, you actually have to, I believe, embed this into a VStack. And embed this into another VStack. Actually, I'm just going to change this to ZStack. And what this will do is come in here and add that to the Z. Actually, you don't even need to do that. You can actually come in here, and what you can do to add a background, so I do this all the time, color lit, and what we can do is just make this like a navy blue, and then edges, you want to put all, right, so that it takes up the whole thing. And let's make this like a light blue, a little lighter. Is there anything like more vibrant? Yeah, so like a red, like this, right? So along with this frame, right, the frame is great. The dot frame element is great. You can set a max width, max height, but you also want to understand edges. Dot edges ignore safe area. I mean, you can just do dot top if you want. You can do dot bottom, right? So like you can take off like different things you want to, not focus on. But this is, again, I think go hand in hand with frames because, let's just say, let's take this away for a second. But we don't have to set that because the Z stack naturally takes up the whole screen in a way, and you're naturally going to have a background, right? So frames are great, guys. I mean, frames are something that are very important, I think, for you to understand in SwiftUI because, you're going to have frames that you want to set buttons to. Like we could do a button real quick, and we'll get out of here. I'll add a VStack, And I'm just going to fold this real quick. Sorry, I should increase there we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to add a button, okay? And what's cool about the button is you can just have it say text and hello button, right? You can add modifiers, right? But we care about, let's do a frame. Let's do like, a good width for a button could be like maybe, let's just see what 240 of height of, 48, 44 maybe, maybe it's more like 200. I'm a huge fan of like the 180. It looks pretty good with the height as well. Apple lately has been doing a lot of 54. I think it's like like a 200, and then you can add the corner radius of 20, and once you have the frame has to always be the first thing. This has to be the first thing right here. It can't come after the background. If you do this, right? Oh, yeah, see how it gets messed up, right? It has to be the first thing. And then a fun fact, anything after corner radius, I believe also gets messed up. No, it doesn't. Okay, we're good. But yeah, so that's frame, guys. I hope this helps make more sense on where you can use this. I would use this on icons that like this profile if you want to add a background to it, like a background color to this image. Setting like a heading component at the top. Setting a component for like your cards that you might be showing content with. If it's a social media app that has a news feed, Instagram has cards that each user's post takes up the whole width, right? But inside that width, if you notice, inside of that card, there's a bunch of H stacks, there's V stacks of content that are all adaptable. So this is a great intro to frames. If you guys haven't checked out H stacks, V stacks, or Z stacks yet, my videos are in there. I've also touched on shadows. I'm going to be diving into padding next, and then corner radius. And then strokes. It's a bunch of stuff. These are just quick, easy to learn videos, and if you're new to SwiftUI, it's something to dive into. I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think. I'll see you in the next episode.